Communication is key in coaching, and that's something Arizona quarterbacks coach Lyle Moevoa refined when he played internationally in France and Japan. It was the 2 years out of his time at Oregon State before he started coaching, but he had to simplify very complex things to his teammates, and that's something he still does with his quarterbacks, whether it be a first stringer like Noah Fafita or a freshman walk-on, to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Pretty much when you play nationally, right, you got to put things in simplest form. When it comes to coaching, it's the same way. However you can translate to turn on the light in every single one of their heads, right? That is the best way that you can present or translate whatever you're trying to get done as an offense, as a position group. So that was my first step of truly coaching, especially considering there's a language barrier, right? I decided to pick the two hardest languages to learn coming up through grade school, right, are Japanese and French. You know, most people are just, hey, I'll take Spanish 1. You know, and they're like, what about Japanese and French? Like, no. So there was a little bit of that, but I'd say overall, the first lesson that I learned was how to be able to put things in simplest forms in terms of translating the game plan.
I think Coach Lyle, kind of the time I've spent with him, he's taught me just little things from. I mean, he played at Oregon State, he played against USC, Penn State, so he played at the highest level that I'm at. So he kind of knows that little tricks of the trade, and he's helped me in that a lot.
The game of football here is obviously something that's second to none. A lot of us are doing it since we're young. Over there, it's kind of something that's more of a hobby. And so I really had to go back to, okay, I can't just go up to the line and say, hey, you got a post, you got a corner, you got to dig. And then, because the first time I did that, I went to snap the ball, and our slot receiver was like, okay. And then ball snapped, he goes, what's a corner? So I really had to, go back to being able to teach them, almost going back to kindergarten and going like day one, let's go through this thing. And so, again, it was just a reminder of me of never assuming that those guys know what you know. And, again, another carryover into coaching now, it's like you got to make sure you're covering every base and everybody's – because a lot of times your players will do the same thing, right? They're all standing there. You're going through it, explaining to Noah, and they're all shaking their head yes, and you look him straight in the eye and say, you understand, and he'll continue to shake his head yes, and not until you get on the field. And so keeping that in mind is always helpful.